Hello guys, this is your boy G Prediction. Hope you guys are doing alright, hope you guys are fine. Well, in this video, I'm actually going to be sharing with you a simple and easy NBA betting strategy that works 99% accuracy. So if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is G Prediction and I go around teach people to make that betting life very easy. And today, I'm about to make your personal betting life very easy. So without wasting your time, let's get started. Right, so today I'm going to share with you 3 powerful betting strategy that works for NBA, right, basketball. So for those of you asking about basketball strategy, this video is for you. So watch this video to the end and you will get all the strategies you want. If you want to predict overs or unders, this video is for you, right? So the first thing you have to do is to search for NBA games, because this strategy only works for NBA games, right? So you search for NBA games on your Sportybet or 1xBet or whatever bookies you're using, and when you search for NBA, the bookmakers is going to display all the basketball NBA games that are available, right, for that time, and you're going to make prediction. Now, here's going to be a rule you have to follow. You can pick up your pen and biro if you want to write it down, but I'm going to tell you what to follow, right? So the first rule, that is the first strategy, the first rule you have to follow, which is the first and last rule, is for you to predict overs on NBA, you must first of all check out their last 5 games. The last 5 games of both teams. If both teams have the average of 110 goals per game, 110 goals per game on average, you can pick that game to play an over 220 goals to be scored when they meet. Now, I will explain this again. For example, if home and away team have a total average of 110 goals plus per game, you can pick that particular game to play an over 220 goals or 220 overs to be played in that particular game, right? So you can even go for over 2.19, over 219, over 218, or whatever you want to go for, you can go for, right? So this is going to be an over game, right? So let me show you an example so you can understand what I'm trying to do better, right? So this particular game, you're going to be using particular game as an example. This particular game as an example, Torino versus Poland. So this is what you're going to be doing. So the next thing you have to do is go to their stats on Sportybet. If you're using Sportybet or if you're using any bookmakers, you can go to their stats, or you can also use your flash score, SofaScore, to get what you're looking for. So you go to their stats. The next thing you have to do is to scroll down, scroll to this area where you get head-to-head new on your Sportybet, right? So now you can also use your flash score, SofaScore, to get this, right? So you can do that yourself. So I'm using Sportybet for example in this particular video. So this is the last 5 matches for home and this is the last 5 matches for away on the basketball. This is basketball, right? Now what you're going to do is you are actually going to be calculating the average of home, the average goals for home and away. How do you do that? It's very simple. Now let me show you what to do so you can understand, right? So this is Torino, right? And you're going to pick out all the goals played by Torino, all the points, all the goals played by Torino. You're going to pick it and calculate everything, then divide it by 5. You're going to do that for Poland also. So let me show you an example so you can understand, right? So let's go to our calculator right now so you can understand what I'm trying to do, right? So let's go. So this is my calculator, and if you don't have calculator on your phone, you can go to Play Store and download calculator on your phone, but I believe everyone has calculator on their phone, right? So now what you're going to do is to go back to our Sportybet. When you get back to Sportybet, the next thing you're going to do is to calculate all the goals Torino have scored, which is home team. This is 118 plus 109. Okay, so don't make any mistake. Make sure you do the calculation correct. This is 118 and 127. So you go to your calculator, 118 plus 127. You can see what I'm doing. You go back to your Sportybet again to get the next one. This is 108 and 116. So you go back to your Sportybet, your calculator, and search for 108 plus 116. You make sure you are very correct. You check again, cross check again, so you can see this is 108 and 116. Yeah, so the last one on the last head to head on the last, on the last game, last 5 matches they played, This is the last game you are going to calculate, which is 112. So you go to your calculator and see plus 112. Now you can see that when you plus everything together, you're going to be getting 581, right? So you keep that particular number on your head, 581. Then you divide it by 5. Now when you divide it by 5, you're going to get an average of 116.2, which has exceeded the average of 110 plus, right? So like I said before, if you have to focus on high scoring team, how do you do that? You check the last 5 matches, the last 5 games of both teams. If both team average exceed the 110 plus, that is 110 plus points per game, you can pick that game to play over 220 total points, right? That is what you're going to do. So now you can see that for home team have actually played 116.2. When you calculate, you can see for yourself. This is the average for home. Now, like I said before, it's going to happen for both teams, that is for home and away. Now, you want to check if the away team also have 110 plus points. If they have it, then you can pick them to play over 220. So let's confirm for away. Let's see if away has that particular point, right? So now you go back and calculate for away. So this is for away, which is Poland. So now away has 127 and 93. So you go to your calculator, you search 127 plus 93. You go back to your Sportybet again to get the other one, which is 107 and 111, right? So you go back to your calculator and search and write it 107 plus 111, right? Then the last one, you can see what I'm actually doing is very simple. The last one is 116, right? So you go back to your calculator and type 116, and now you can see that you're having 554, right? So now you keep that number on your head, you write it 554 divided by 5, and you're going to get 110.8, which means for the home team is having 116.2, and now the away team is having 110.8 or thereabout, but it is more than the 1110. It's more than the 110 plus. So you can play this particular game to play over 220. Like I said before, this is over 220 at 1.58 odd, but I'm not going for that. Because I want to stay in a safer area. I can go for over 217.5, over 218.5, or over 219.5, but I'm going for over 217. So this is how to actually calculate NBA overs. It is very simple and no stress. Now we are going to talk about the unders right now. So before we talk about the under, let's make a quick recap on how to actually calculate the over. So for my brothers and sisters who are actually very confused, I want to make a recap right now so you can understand what I am doing. It is very simple and no stress, right? So now the first thing you have to do is to locate any NBA games you want to predict on your Sportybet, 1xBet or Betway, whatever bookies you are using. And after that, you want to make sure you come to their stats, or you can even use your flash score to do this analysis. But I don't want to use flash score due to time and everything. I don't want to use flash score. So you can use your flash score to do this analysis. Now, what you're going to be looking for is you have to check the last 5 games of both teams. If both teams average has 110 plus points per game, bet that game on over 220 total points, right? So what will mean is we are going to be calculating the average for home, and if it is more than 110 plus, it is okay. And if you calculate for away also, it's more than 110 plus, then you can bet this particular game to play over 220, right? Over 220. This is what you are going to bet this particular game to play. I will advise you always play safe. Now, let me show you again what I did. So what I did was I just have to calculate the goals in the last 5 matches. I just have to calculate the points home has scored. So this is Torino. This is Torino at home. This is Torino, which is the home team. You calculate all the goals, all the total points Torino have already scored, right? So this is it. Torino scored 118. You go to your calculator and type 118. Torino play 127. You go to your calculator and type in plus 127. You do everything like this. You calculate all the total points Torino have played, and it is up to 5. So after doing the calculation, the next thing you have to do is to divide by 5, right? When you divide by 5, you are going to get your answer. So I'm going to do a practical example real quick, so you can understand me right now. So I just have to calculate all these particular points here so you can understand, right? So this is what you're going to do. You're going to plus out all the goals Torino have scored, that is the home team have scored, and after that you're going to be getting this particular line here, which is 581, right? So you're going to keep that number on your head, 581, and what you're going to do next is to divide it by 5, right? So when you divide it by 5, you're going to get this is the average. So this is the average point for home, and you do the same thing for away. And when you get the average point and it's more than 110 plus, that is more than 110 point plus, you can bet that game to play over 220 point, over 220 over or point, or whatever you want to call it. That is what you can bet that particular game to play, right? So that strategy is actually very simple, and that is how to predict overs. Now let's go for how to predict unders, right? So I don't want to waste your time, let's get started. Now, for you to predict an under on NBA, it is actually very simple. It is very simple. But I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do. Now, I told you before, for over, I've already given you the rules. So you can write the rules down when you want to predict overs. Now, for unders, right? So this is what you're going to do for unders. If one or both teams score less than 105 points per game in their last head-to-head, you calculate everything, the last head-to-head, what you're going to go for, you're going to go for under 215 or under 220. I repeat, if one or both teams score less than 105 points per game, you can go for under 215 or under 220, right? So I will explain to you. So let's find a practical example so we can get what you're looking for. So let's use this as an example, or let's find a practical example so we can get what we're looking for. So I will come back to you. So we are going to use this particular game as an example, just to give you an example of what is going to happen or how to predict NBA unders, right? So it is actually very simple. Now, like I said before in the rules, if one or both teams score less than 105 points, 105 points, then per game you can actually go for an under 215, or under 220, right? That is how to predict it. So how do you actually check if a team has less points less than 105 points per game? How do you do that? It's very simple. So what you're going to do is very simple. So now this is the home team playing, right? So this is the home team playing, and you're going to calculate all the goals the home team have scored, in the last 5 matches, and you divide it by 5. And if it's less than 105, what you're going to do, you're going to be targeting an under games. But I'll tell you what to do somewhere around this video. So if you like this video and if you like what I'm actually doing, all you have to do is to say thank you, GB Prediction, for sharing this strategy with us. And if you want me to put any strategy for you, just say it in the comment section. I will do that for you without any stress, right? So now let's go. Now what you're going to be doing is you're going to be picking out all the goals, all the points home have scored. This is it. So you're going to be picking out everything there. So now the first one I'm going to be picking out is 91 plus 109. So you go to a calculator, which is very easy. 91 plus 109. Let me see if I'm right or wrong. If I'm right, okay, I'm right? So make sure you're actually right in whatever you're doing, right? So the next one I'm going to be calculating is 95 and 114, right? This is it, 95 and 114. That is what you're going to be calculating. So you see plus 95 plus 114, right? So now let's see if I'm right or wrong. Okay, I'm right. So the last one on our list is 99, right? So you write it plus 99, right? So we're having 508 as the final answer. So what you're going to do next is divide by 5, and you can see that we are having less than 105, and you can see that the total average for home is 1 101.6, which is less than this particular average 105. So this game is actually pointing at under. This game is actually pointing at under. So let's go check for our under 215 or under 220. This is under 215. This is under 215, but I'm not going for that under 215. I have to do proper analysis because under is a very risky game, right? So I'll have to do proper analysis to check, right? So the next thing I have to do is to check for the away team. That is the away team. Just want to give you a little strategy on how this works. So you check out for the away team. When you check out for the away team, then this is the away team. So let's calculate for the away team. So we calculate the goals the away team have scored, and after that we divide by 5 to see what we are doing, if you are right or wrong. So now let's start. So this is 133 and 124. 133 and 124. 133 plus 124. We are having. Okay, so now you go to the next one. Now we are going to be calculating. So we have calculated this. We are going to be calculating this. 107 and 117. 107 plus 117. 107 plus 117. So make sure you're right in your calculations. And after that, the last one is going to be 106. So you write it down on your calculator plus 106. Which we are having 587. 587 divided by 5, and we are having 117. Now you can see that the first one, which is the home team, is having less than 105, and the away team is having more than 105. Now this is the trick. Yeah, you can bet this game to play an under 20. Under 220, right? So you can bet this game to play under 220 or wherever you're going for, or you can even go to Sportybet and pick the last under, that is if you want to, or even pick this one. But I would advise you that both teams should have at least less than 105 on their average. If both teams have less than 105 on their average, then you can confidently pick them to play under 215 goals or under 220 points to be scored. That is how the strategy works, right? So I would advise you to go for games where both teams have less average at less than 105 average, less than this, right? So if something more than this, you can stay away from it. But if it's less than this on both teams, that is your home and away, you can get them over. But in a particular game, if I want to go for it, if I want to predict according to the rules and strategy, I will just have to go for under, which is the last under here, which is 230.5. Just have to go to the last under here and predict. That is how this strategy works, and that is how you can definitely make money with this NBA strategy. So now that I've actually taught you how to predict the over and under on NBA, right? So now that I've actually teach you guys on how to predict the overs and unders on NBA, the next video I'm going to be making is how to predict straight wins on NBA, right? So you can use this strategy and make money for yourself. So if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is G Prediction, and I'm going to teach you how to make that betting life very, very easy. And today I'm about to make your personal betting life very, very easy. So without wasting your time, all you have to do is to hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell button, so anytime I drop a video like this, you will always be the first to be notified. And if you enjoy what I'm doing, just say thank you to Prediction for sharing this strategy with us. And of course, I will do more to share more strategy with you guys. See you in the next video. For now, peace and love. Bye bye.